Astronauts abandoned on Mars. You're watching the death of one era and the birth of another. Governments used to own the stars. But now, private companies are racing ahead. Look at this. In 2020, the space economy was worth $447 billion. By 2040? Nearly 4 times that. Why? Because Earth is running out of time. Climate change. Resource wars. Overpopulation. The stakes? Humanity's future. On screen text, the stakes, humanity's future, but here's the twist, this isn't just about rockets. It's about jobs. Incredible, unexpected jobs. Roles we haven't even dreamed of yet. So how did we get here? How did space become the fastest growing job market on or off Earth? You think you know rockets. Fire. Thunder. Smoke. That's your grandfather's space race. But here's the thing, chemical rockets are already relics. Meet the new physics. No fire. No roar. Just silent acceleration. Ion drives. Plasma thrusters. Nuclear propulsion. Text overlay, not your grandfather's rockets. These aren't sci-fi. They're here. And they're rewriting the rules of the game. Chemical rockets? 4.5 kilometers per second ion thrusters? 90 kilometers per second. That's not evolution. That's a revolution. But here's the kicker, this isn't just about speed. It's about access. And the craziest part? We're just getting started. Railguns. Laser sails. Antimatter drives. Text overlay, the future isn't coming. It's here. But what does this mean for you and your career? But what does this mean for you and your career? Space isn't just about flying anymore. This isn't just STEM, it's everything. Material scientists craft alloys that laugh at meteorites. AI specialists teach robots to dance in the void. And space architects? They're designing the skylines of tomorrow. But here's the thing, every bolt, every breath, every bite is part of the human story. The stars aren't just for astronauts. They're for you. Let's dive into the core technologies driving this. You're looking at the future of space travel. Not in decades. Now. Because the math doesn't lie, chemical rockets won't cut it. Not for Mars. Not for Europa. Not for the stars. So what's the answer? Nuclear. Here's the first mind-bending fact, NTP engines use a nuclear reactor to heat hydrogen propellant to 5000 degrees Fahrenheit. That's twice as efficient as the best chemical rockets. But here's the kicker, NASA's Draco project aims to test this in space by 2027. Therefore, if you're a nuclear engineer or material scientist, your skills are about to become gold. Wait, what about radiation? That's where the second breakthrough comes in. NEP systems use nuclear reactors to generate electricity, powering ion thrusters that push spacecraft with gentle but relentless force. Think of it like a marathon runner versus a sprinter. And here's the staggering part, NEP could cut Mars travel time to just 45 days. But here's where things take a dark turn. These systems require enriched uranium. And that's not just a technical challenge, it's a geopolitical one. What happens when every nation and corporation wants a piece of the nuclear pie? Now pay attention to this part, because this is what nobody talks about. These engines aren't just for Mars. They're the key to interstellar probes. Therefore, if we crack this, we're not just talking about a new era of exploration. We're talking about humanity's first steps beyond our solar system. But what about the infrastructure needed for these journeys? That's a story for another segment. You ever look at your life and wonder, how the hell did I get here? That's exactly what Maya asked herself 3 years ago. She was designing video game levels, fantasy castles, alien worlds, when she realized something. Her code wasn't just pixels on a screen. It was a language. A language for building worlds. Maya never thought she'd work on lunar rovers. She didn't study aerospace. Didn't dream of space as a kid. But here's the thing, she didn't need to. The skills she honed in gaming? They were the same ones needed to simulate dust storms on the moon. You see, space isn't just for astronauts anymore. It's for the builders. The dreamers. The ones who look at a problem and think, I can fix that. Maya's journey wasn't about leaving her past behind. It was about realizing her past was the key. So how do you get into these fields? It's not about having the right degree. It's about seeing the connections. The patterns. The way your skills your unique perspective can solve problems no one else has even considered. Because here's the truth no one tells you. The future of space isn't just being written by engineers in labs. It's being coded by artists. Designed by gamers. Built by people like you. But here's the question no one's asking yet. What happens when we need entire infrastructures beyond Earth? Not just rovers. Not just habitats. Whole systems. Whole economies. What roles are being created right now that we can't even imagine? You asked about infrastructure. Here's the answer, it's already being built. Not on Earth. Beyond it. In 2026, the orbital economy isn't a dream. It's a spreadsheet. And the architects? They're not just engineers. They're pioneers. First, manufacturing. In space, you don't fight gravity. You use its absence. Companies like Made in Space, now a household name, print satellite components, fiber optics, even human organs in microgravity. But here's the kicker. That's the sound of progress. And it's getting louder. Asteroid mining isn't sci-fi. It's a ledger. The asteroid psyche? That's more than the entire global economy. And companies like Astroforge are already sending probes to claim it. Therefore, the moon. NASA's Artemis program? Just the beginning. By 2026, the Lunar Gateway isn't just a waypoint, it's a construction hub. But the real work? Happens on the surface. Robots don't need oxygen. They don't need sleep. And they're building the first off-world cities layer by layer. This isn't just building. It's pioneering an entirely new ecosystem. Now, Mars. The red planet isn't a destination. It's a challenge. Life support systems? Closed loop. Water? Recycled from sweat and urine. Food? Hydroponic farms under LED lights. But here's where things get messy. Space isn't empty. It's crowded. Every satellite, every discarded rocket stage, every fleck of paint is a bullet. And in 2026, we're running out of room. Therefore, the cosmic air traffic controllers. Companies like Leo Labs track debris in real time. One mistake, and a $200 million satellite becomes shrapnel. This is the blueprint. Not just for survival. For dominance. But here's the question no one's answering. Who owns the moon? Who owns Mars? The Outer Space Treaty says no one. But in 2026, the gold rush is on. And the rules? They're being written right now. What are the ethical and economic implications of colonizing space? That's next. You've heard it before. Space is a playground for billionaires. A vanity project for the rich. But here's the thing, what if they're wrong? Every dollar spent on space is a dollar stolen from Earth. That's the argument. But here's what they're missing. GPS weather forecasting. Disaster response. These aren't luxuries. They're lifelines. And they all come from space tech. But here's where it gets messy. The International Space Station was built for all of us. A symbol of global cooperation. Now, private companies are moving in. Who gets to go? Who gets to stay? So tell me, where do you stand? Is space for all of humanity, or just the few who can afford the ticket? The orbital economy is here. But here's the question no one's answering. How do we actually prepare for this future? You're watching the orbital economy unfold, factories in space, cities on the moon, Mars on the horizon. But here's the question that should be keeping you up at night, how do you get there? Not as a tourist. As a pioneer. Because this future isn't just for astronauts anymore. It's for the coder who writes the software that keeps a lunar colony alive. The lawyer who drafts the first Martian constitution. The artist who designs habitats where humans thrive, not just survive. Let me tell you about Aisha. She grew up in Lagos, built her first robot at 14 from scavenged parts. Today? She's designing autonomous rovers for the moon's south pole. And here's the thing, she didn't wait for permission. Neither should you. But here's what nobody tells you, the most valuable skill isn't technical. It's relentlessness. The ability to stare at a problem, break it down, and build something no one's ever seen before. So where do you start? Right here. Right now. That coding class you've been putting off? Take it. That 3D printer gathering dust in your garage? Fire it up. The orbital economy isn't a spectator sport. And it's not just about STEM. We need poets to imagine what it means to be human among the stars. Lawyers to navigate the ethics of asteroid mining. Designers to make zero-G feel like home. This is your launchpad. Not a distant dream. A tangible future. And it's being built by people who refuse to accept the status quo. But here's the ultimate question, what is this all building towards? Not just survival. Not just exploration. Something far greater. You ever stop to think, what we're really building here? These aren't just jobs. They're not even careers. They're brushstrokes on the canvas of something cosmic. This is bigger than any one person. Bigger than any one company. Bigger than any one planet. You are part of a design so vast it makes the pyramids look like sandcastles. Propulsion engineers? They're not just building rockets. They're writing the first lines of humanity's interstellar survival guide. Life support specialists? They're not just recycling air. They're learning how to breathe among the stars. And sustainment? That's not just about growing food. It's about proving we can thrive, not just survive out here. Content based on current science, yes, some of it's theoretical. Some of it's speculative. But here's the truth, we have to get this right. Because Earth won't last forever. So what's the ultimate vision? Not just flags and footprints. Not just tweets from orbit. A civilization that spans the solar system, a future where humanity isn't a single point of failure. Where our story doesn't end with one planet's fate. But here's the question that should ignite you. If we can do this, if we are doing this, what's the ultimate destiny of humanity in space? You're standing at the edge of a cliff. Not on Earth, on Mars. Rivers flow. Trees grow. Cities rise. This isn't sci-fi. It's the future engineers are designing right now. But here's the thing, Mars is just the beginning. The universe is teeming with planets. Some might already hold life. And we're building the bridges to get there. The only limit? Our imagination, and the engineers who build it. Content is based on current science, some of it's still theory. But one thing's certain, the universe is waiting. And you could be the one to take us there. You've seen what's coming, but the journey's just beginning. Engineers, astronauts, dreamers, this is your frontier. Hit subscribe to ride the next wave. Like this if you're ready to shape it. Comment below what space career sets your soul on fire.